Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to episode 4 of As Seen on Screen. I'm Gracie.
And I'm Nicole, and this is your source for entertainment news, reviews, interviews, and conversations.
Find us wherever you watch your podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. Let's get into this week's episode.
Because we have a lot to discuss.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Let's start it off a little differently. What was your weekly watch?
Ooh, I like it. Changing it up. I think my weekly watch this week will be the new Pretty Little Liars Summer School series, which is the second season of Pretty Little Liars Original Sin. They've just changed up the name a bit. We talked a bit about this last episode. So this just came out on May 9th. They released the first two episodes, and then they're doing one weekly episode after that on Thursdays. So I've watched the first episode, and it was awesome. I it's a different take on Pretty Little Liars in the sense that it's more gory, more horror, which is totally up my alley. So love it. And I love the characters, I love the backstory. Um so this is just gonna be fun. The first episode really gave you insight into what happened between where the last season ended and then to where the 6 months following that up until summer, because obviously this season takes place all in summer. So it definitely gives you a good backstory of what happened, what you missed out, and where the characters are now and what they've been up to for 6 months. So there's definitely some surprises right off the bat. You learn some surprising things. So I thought they did a really great job so far, and I'm very excited to see where they take this season.
Yeah, I've been so excited to watch that, but I haven't had the chance to yet just because I've been so busy, but it's definitely on my to-be watch. So I'm glad that you have like nothing but positive things to say about the first episode.
I have nothing positive things to say about the entire series, so
That's true.
I'm definitely an avid fan for it. But what is your weekly watch?
Okay, mine's a bit of a throwback, not a super long throwback, but I just never had the chance to watch it. Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, a great movie.
A fantastic movie. Like, I love racing movies. I think they're so fun, but I love when it's mixed into like the true story aspect as well.
Yes.
And I walked into this not knowing a lot about the actual story. So watching it and seeing the performances that these actors gave was just like breathtaking. I was on the edge of my seat for the entire thing. My anxiety was spiked. Like it was just such a well put together movie, and you can tell that everybody put everything into their performances. So, highly recommend that.
And where'd you stream it on? Where is it streaming right now?
I watched it on Netflix.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was recently added, so go watch it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I love that movie. That's
Yeah.
definitely a good one. But those are our weekly watches. So you can watch Peel Liars Summer School. It's on Max. I don't have Max, so I was just streaming it. But you could also watch Ford versus Ferrari on Netflix.
Yeah.
Amazing. So let's jump in to Amazon MGM Studios and Amazon Prime Video released their slate of a lot of upcoming productions for this year and for 2025
Mhm.
during the week on May 14th. So let's talk a bit about that.
They had a huge release. I can't even say release week. It was just release day. Like
Yeah.
they kind of pulled like, oh, I'm trying to think what it's called. I think it's Disney does it where it's like Disney Day and they have
Yes.
this
Yeah.
huge Disney
The expo.
Expo.
The expo.
Yeah, and they have this huge day where they just kind of say all their future releases. I think Amazon caught wind of that and was like, we should definitely do that. And they announced a lot, a fair amount, starting off with a bit of a controversial one. Uh, they announced a Roadhouse sequel. So, for those of you who don't know, Jake Gyllenhaal did a remake or reimagining of the older film Roadhouse, which originally had Patrick Swayze in it.
Yes, from the 80s. Yeah.
And Nicole got to see it at South by Southwest.
True. This
But
is very true.
I did not. I just saw it when it came out on Amazon. So, what are your thoughts on this film getting a sequel?
I can't really remember if a film has ever received a sequel when it's a reimagining of an older film.
Hmm.
That concept just seems odd to me because you have the original and you've made the remake, and that's fine. And you know what? This film, was it the greatest film in the world? No. But I thought for what it had action, it was fun, it was comedic, especially Conor McGregor's character. So I thought it was good for what it was. And I think they did a good job of a reimagining because sometimes sequels are just downright, or not sequels, sorry, remakes are
Reimagining.
just downright tragic. So this one I thought was pretty good. They pitched Patrick Swayze, which I thought was great of them. So as a standalone film, I think it's great. I don't, however, think it requires a sequel because if you've seen the film, and I won't spoil it because it's still somewhat new, but from what the ending is, it doesn't really, I don't know. It definitely leaves some aspects open for sequel, and I could see where they're going with this
Yeah.
in some ways, but I just don't think it's necessary. It performed okay on Prime.
Yeah,
It wasn't like the best release ever.
honestly, it really surprised me that they decided to do a sequel because like it did well on Prime, as you were saying,
Yeah,
but it wasn't anything astronomical. Like they've had
exactly.
way more successful movies that have never gotten a sequel or have never gotten a remake. And I was actually just on Letterboxd looking at your review of Roadhouse as you were talking, and you gave it a 4 out of 5 stars.
I did.
Yeah, you said yours was more about the audience reaction though, as opposed
Yes,
to like
that's
the actual
true.
movie.
I had a different take because when you see things at a festival and like
Hmm.
premieres, it's just different energy, which I think definitely helps a lot to contribute to how you feel about the film. Um, I'm sure if I was to watch it again on Prime, I'd be a little less enthusiastic about it, but
You can
I
see,
honestly think this was a great film. I did for what it was, like I don't know. I just don't think it needs a sequel.
I find it really funny that yours is like as someone who watched it at the world premiere and you gave it a 4 star, and then my review on Letterboxd is literally a 2.5 star.
Oh
And
gosh.
you know what? I feel like I was nice in the comment I left. I said it was really well done as far as movie remakes go, but I couldn't really get into the acting per se. Minus Conor McGregor. He really sold me on being crazy. So
He did a great job of being crazy.
I'm hoping he comes back for the second one. That's my only wish.
I'm also very curious to find out if Doug Liman is coming back to direct this film because there
Mm,
was a lot of controversy around. So at South by Southwest, a little background for everyone listening. Doug Liman was originally not going to be present at the premiere because he was upset that Roadhouse was not receiving a theatrical release and it was solely being released to streaming because he said originally his deal with Amazon before they had the merger with MGM Studios was that depending on how they made the film and how well it was perceived in pre-screenings, they were going to be giving it a theatrical release. Well, according to Doug, that they turned
mm,
around once they did the merger with Amazon MGM or with MGM Studios, they then cut that out and just left it as a streaming release, which obviously upset him. And I think that's valid because, again, this is the type of movie, as someone who did see it in the theater, I think would have done decent in the theater.
mhm,
And when you have like action and this kind of movie, obviously it's best seen on the big screen. So I totally support where he's coming from. But he did, in fact, show up at the premiere at South by Southwest. He didn't walk the red carpet. He didn't do interviews and he did not go up on stage for the post-screening Q&A with the rest of the cast. So Jake Gyllenhaal did give him a shout out. He was in the audience, but he didn't come up at all. He wasn't helping boost anything about this film. So
uh,
I'm I would be surprised if he came back to direct it almost, but
yeah,
I don't know.
we'll see. Only time will tell. But
It's true.
speaking of another release, Amazon announced Nicolas Cage is coming back for his Spider-Man Noir live action series with MGM Plus and Amazon Prime Video. I really don't know how to feel about this because it's a live action series
Yeah.
and we've only ever seen this character in the Spider-Verse as like an animation.
Yeah. I think
So I don't know. I'm kind of
uh,
confused because Nick Cage, like body wise, doesn't look the same as his character in Spider-Verse does.
right.
So I'm kind of interested to see what turns they take on it, but I don't know. How do you feel?
I think I kind of feel this way about a lot of the releases that they announced during this, but
They're not original.
where's the original content? I don't know anyone who has said, yes, let's get a live action Spider-Man noir series going. I don't know. I mean, it definitely could be interesting. We haven't seen anything about it. So
Mhm.
obviously it could end up being a really great movie. The concept, what they're doing with it, who knows? I mean, Nicolas Cage is an amazing actor. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with it, but I don't know. I think
A lot of the releases that they announced are either reimaginings, we were talking about this earlier, are either reimaginings or sequels, which there's no problem with.
right,
But they're just not, it's lacking originality.
absolutely.
It's lacking imagination. Like, remember when you used to see movie trailers and you'd be like, wow, I've never seen this before.
Yep.
And I
That
like,
hasn't happened in a while.
I swear that was a movie like a few years back is kind of like what's going on now.
Right? Yeah, that seems to
Uh,
be the normality these days. But I am really excited, one of them, about Elle, the series that is serving as a prequel series to the two Legally Blonde films. So that I'm really excited for, actually. Um, I'm very curious, A, to see who's going to play Elle, because
yeah.
that will determine a lot about how that does.
Literally
And
right before we hopped on this podcast, I saw a tweet and it was like, Sabrina Carpenter, I have the role of a lifetime for you. And I was like, you know what? That would be iconic.
I could see that too, and I could definitely see a lot of people saying Reese's daughter Ava to play her,
Yeah,
which I think would be really sweet.
that
I
would be
think
cute.
that's a really cute full circle moment for them. But who knows? But I think this could be cute. I There was a lot of buzz, not a lot, but I think for the last few years, a lot of people have said on the internet about Legally Blonde 3
Hmm.
coming out, and I've seen it like three different times over the last few years saying this could be another movie. And I think Reese Witherspoon has made comments somewhat suggesting something was happening. So now we can assume that it's this series L.
Yeah.
Um, but I, I I think it could be cool. I think definitely seeing Elle's backstory. I love Elle. She's such an upbeat, fun, bubbly character. I love those movies. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited to see what they do with this.
Honestly, Reese Witherspoon looks like she's not aged a day in the video where she was announcing it. And it really threw me off. Because I was
Right?
like, she looks the exact same as she did when the original movies came out. And that's scary to me. But also, slay. You go, girl.
Uh, yeah, I'm excited for those. But what else is on the list?
Well, to no one's surprise, we have The Boys season 5 was announced,
Yes.
uh, which is, I guess, kind of surprising because season 4 hasn't even come out yet. It's
True.
coming out pretty soon, but it's rare that TV shows get renewed before their current season comes out.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I guess that was kind of surprising, but with the amount of views and the fandom that this series has, I was not surprised in the slightest that it got renewed for another season. But on the
Absolutely.
flip side, they also have Gen V, which they didn't make an announcement on, but it's in the same realm of
Yeah.
or same world, I guess. They were supposed to have a season 2 coming out, I think next summer, but that's been pushed back because unfortunately one of the main stars passed away in a motorcycle accident. And I was really happy to see that instead of recasting him, they're actually writing out his character in a way that will kind of do him justice to what he already created within the first season, as opposed to having someone try and come in and recreate what he's done. So I thought that was nice. Not related to anything Amazon announced, but kind of in the boys universe. Very
Yeah.
nice. We also have another sequel, Red, White, and Royal Blue, got greenlit for a second movie, and I am ecstatic about this. I'm so excited. I don't know what they're gonna do though, because there's only as far as I'm concerned, there's only one book.
Right, yeah, there is. So
So I don't know if the author is writing a sequel and that's what's going to happen, or if
from
it's
what
one of
I've
those, the movie comes out and then she writes the book.
Yeah, from what I've seen, the I forget her name at the moment, but the author of the book has said she's working closely with the writers for the film. So it
Mm.
sounds as though we're not getting a book before the film, but who knows? But it sounds right now that she's just helping a lot with the process of drafting up a script for this. But I'm so excited. The first movie was so great. I haven't read the book, but love the movie, so I'm excited to see this one get a sequel.
And it's just like, it's been so nice to see both of the lead actors grow so much within that time. Like Taylor, I
Absolutely.
remember when he was in the second Kissing Booth movie, I think it was.
Yes.
And everybody's like, oh my God, this guy is so hot. And then he just kind of blew up as soon as Red, White, and Royal Blue came out. Same with Nicholas. He was in Cinderella, obviously stuff before then, but
Yep.
it was kind of Cinderella where people started to see him. And then this came out. So it's been nice to see them kind of grow together. And they're still very close from the clips that we've seen from them announcing the sequel. So I'm excited to see that chemistry back on screen. I just love them together. I think they're so cute.
I think they have great chemistry together, like you said. So their on-screen acting is amazing, and I think it's just I love it. Such a fun story.
But kind of like bumming your vibe here. The Summer I Turned Pretty is not coming
Yeah.
back this summer.
Which I think everyone knew. I think we'd accepted this because we hadn't seen anything from filming. Obviously, SAG-AFTRA strike and the WGA strikes last year pushed this back. I would assume this is maybe the reason we're not getting it this year because they couldn't write it for so long. Who knows if this was originally how they planned to do it, but
Mhm.
I would assume the strike is the reason, but who knows? But I'm very sad. A whole summer
Eh,
without the summer turned pretty. It's very sad, but gives you something to look forward to next year.
Yeah, 2025, they're coming back. Nicole and I are still rooting for Conrad.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
we'll be
I was
here.
telling, we were talking about a few people we know who are Jeremiah fans. I just cannot get behind it. I'm sorry. I am Team Conrad all the way. All the way.
Yeah, honestly, Team Steven with him and Taylor.
Absolutely. They're
They're
cute. I
so
love them.
cute. I cannot wait to see them.
I love them. I think it's funny when you see the clips because they released the one clip of them playing volleyball
Mhm.
on like Amazon released that clip of them in the preview when they announced season 3. They're back filming it right now, and I think you could just see their personalities are so connected to the characters they play too, and I think that's really sweet. Like Sean, who plays Steven, seems very like outgoing and witty how he is in this show. So I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, we knew it was coming back, but
Yeah,
I'm excited that we're going to be seeing it. I'm sad not this year, but it gives us something to look forward to. And I think it's good because again, I haven't read the books but from what I've seen, there's somewhat of a gap now coming up like
yeah.
within where the storyline goes. So maybe it was always planned like this just to keep that gap going, to age them a little bit. I mean, they're filming it right now, but just to keep that going. So I don't know.
Honestly, I'm most excited to see what Taylor Swift songs they get for the next season. I just thought of that now and I was like, every season, Taylor Swift pops out some new Taylor's version. So
Absolutely.
I'm hoping we get some like Tortured Poets Department or like Reputation Taylor's version.
Gracie's just wishful thinking now.
Literally, I'm grasping at straws right now, but whatever.
But yeah, so was there anything else on that list that stood
Yeah,
out on Amazon?
I'll just list the rest of them off quickly
Yeah.
because I don't think we either know a lot about them as of right now or they're just not in our vicinity of what we watch. But Mr. and Mrs. Smith season 2 was announced. I only watched the first episode of the first one, but I do love the original movie, and I know you do too.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yep.
They're also doing a Tomb Raider series, which is surprising to me because I thought they had already done a bunch of things for Tomb Raider in the past. not Amazon specifically, but just the entertainment world. So it'll be interesting to see how that's different than the past attempts. Uh, you're cordially invited is a new Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell movie that a few people were thrown off with the release date, but
I was
it's
gonna say I forgot to talk about that one, but that one was a weird one that I started seeing the trailer for everywhere, and Reese's Instagram account was the first one I saw. And when I saw that it said January 30th, whenever it is next year, I was like, that cannot be right because it didn't even say 2025, it just said Jan 30th. And I was like, oh no, did she accidentally put Jan instead of June? Because with streaming movies, you never ever get a full trailer
yeah.
like at least like 7 months in advance. That's pretty unheard of for a streaming movie. So
Yeah.
I was really thrown off by it. And then I started seeing more and more, and they all said January 30th. And I was like, oh, it
You
is
know
in fact
what?
7 months away.
Maybe it'll be one of those movies where it goes to theaters and streaming, and that's
Maybe.
why they're trying to, because I feel like Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon are big names.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
them being together should definitely be a theater movie, but we'll see.
I think it'll
And
be cute though to see an R-rated um
yeah.
rom-com. I think it'll be
Mm.
interesting. It'll be funny. The trailer makes it look hilarious, so I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. And lastly, we have the Cross movie, which is coming out. It's a bit of an action thriller movie. Not much has been released except for I think they did a teaser trailer. So that's available now on YouTube, but that's pretty much everything that Amazon has announced within a day.
It was a lot. It was a busy day
It
yesterday. They were busy over there. So
was a lot. Nicole and I were sweating when we saw this. We were like, we're gonna have to fit this into the entire podcast.
But lots to look forward to over on Prime Video, Amazon, and MGM Studios. So that's exciting. I mean, gives us some good stuff to look forward to. Hopefully, some of it we see theatrical releases for as well. So
Mhm.
we'll see. But what is next on our list?
Next up, well, I talked a bit about it there, but Taylor Swift.
Yes, let's talk
She
about what she's doing over in Europe.
she is doing the most. She is doing the most and is leaving no crumbs. So, as we all know, she released the Tortured Poets Department album before she went back on tour for her Europe leg. Nicole and I, there's a clip somewhere of us saying we didn't think she was going to add this new album to the Eras tour because one, she'd have to redo all the merch, but it's also, in a sense, unfair for fans that went to the first leg of the tour because now they're missing out on this new era. And Taylor Swift said, nope, we're gonna do it anyway.
I think it'll be interesting to see what she does, whether she incorporates the Tortured Poets Department or not. We were like when we were talking, we said because on the poster we see the eras and stuff, and obviously
Yes.
Tortured Poets Department isn't a part of the eras for the merch, for the advertising, so she would have to change that around in some ways, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
And I don't think like because it's continuing the tour, so I don't think she'll change it up too much in the
Yeah.
middle of it. Like I just can't see her throwing in a whole new set of songs
I
because then
mean,
she would have to take out some of her other
yeah.
ones, and then people who have already seen the concert over the last year and a bit will be upset. So, and she can't be on tour forever.
What I was thinking was like, obviously she can fit it into the merch, but I don't think it's fair to the other people that have gone and gotten the merch
Yeah,
to do like a completely new Eras tour. So I'm thinking it'll be like surprise songs,
yeah.
and then like maybe a separate tour when she's done the Eras tour for like when Reputation Taylor's version comes out. And obviously another album that she's probably going to have that's original to go along with the Tortured Poets Department. Because realistically, the only thing I could see her doing is like taking out of Folklore and Evermore
Yeah.
to make some space. I'm vibing with the set list as it is.
I was
Like,
gonna say everything we said in that first episode there, we were completely
oh,
wrong.
we were incorrect. Do not trust us.
I still am really surprised that she did this, to be honest, because I think it's like again, never heard of someone midway through a tour changing up the posters, changing
Surprise.
up the merch, changing up the set list to this extreme of an extent.
Well,
Um, I
honestly,
think,
it kind of sucks in a sense. Like, don't get me
yeah,
wrong, so happy, but also sucks because she did have to make a lot of changes to the set list to fit in this new part of the set list.
I
And
am personally mourning Long Live. And in November, when I do not hear Long Live live, I will cry and I will talk about it again. But I'm very sad that how, I don't
maybe it'll
know
be her
how she,
surprise song.
if I don't have a Speak Now surprise song, I will be very sad because why is there only one Speak Now song?
I saw
Why?
someone say it's called the Speak Quickly era. And I was like, that's so accurate.
As a very big fan of her older music, I'm very sad that we don't get anything from debut unless it's a surprise song. And now
Uh,
only one Speak Now? That is just like
I had this argument with someone the other day, and I was like, there's no way that she found a way to fit in like seven Tortured Poets Department songs, but can't fit in one debut song.
right? Thank
Like,
you.
no
I'm glad someone
way.
agrees. Yeah.
Ain't no way. Like, if Speak Now can have one song, debut can have one song.
Yeah, let's and if you need to cut it, I mean, I love Enchanted, but let's take like the 6 minute long song, break it down, play
That's
two
what I'm
smaller,
saying.
shorter songs, and put a debut in there.
Yeah, honestly, she did change up the uh Eras Tour a lot, as we said. One of the big hits though was merging Folklore and Evermore, which sucks because when you think about it, these are the two albums that didn't get a tour. Like Lover at least had
Yeah,
Loverfest planned before
yeah,
COVID hit, but these two were during COVID, so no one saw them live. And then this was the one chance. That's why there were so many of them on there with Midnights, of course. But now they're being merged together, and we have like maybe four or five folklore songs and two Evermore songs.
yeah. I think it's
Like,
sad. Uh,
we're never gonna hear those songs again.
yeah, absolutely. I
So,
think, and I love, I do actually love how she changed up some of the costumes though.
mm,
I love, have you seen on TikTok the 1989 album or the outfit comparison to, I forget her name, the
to the
Chipette.
Chipettes.
I forget her name, but the lead Chipette that ends up with Almond.
Yeah.
Um, but she's wearing like the teal skirt and the
Hmm.
pink top, or is it the other way around? But I think it's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
And she's wearing one and probably chipwrecked. I assume that's what that
Yes.
costume's from. So I think that was really funny and cute. And then there's a lot of comparisons to Travis and like his obviously Alvin wears a red sweater and a yellow A, so they're comparing that to Chiefs colors with Travis. So
You
I
know
think that's
what?
kind of funny. But
It
love
was
it.
her 87th show and she wore Chiefs colors and
Yep.
Travis was there and she sang basically love songs to Travis the entire night for surprise songs.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cute. Had me kicking my feet and giggling, but I was also like, I'm so upset with you right now.
So many mixed feelings, so many.
Literally.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think yeah, I don't know how I feel about her changing so much because I do have to feel bad for all the people that spent last year going to the Eras Tour. I mean, there's a whole movie, and now that
Yeah.
whole movie is not even close to being accurate to what the
You
tour
know
is
what
now.
though? They did record the Paris shows.
I'm sure, knowing Taylor, I'm sure there will be some sort of new release of it or like updated version. I'm sure somewhere in the future.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I do think it's kind of sad for the people that already went. I mean, all the hardcore Swifties are gonna get the updated merch, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
They'll have two sweaters. And I do think it's cool in an aspect actually to have tour merch that you can't really get like you can find it somewhere for sure, but you can't really get anymore because now it's the new updated merch.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think that it's a slightly I don't know. I don't know.
I
I have
just
very
don't
mixed feelings
think
about it.
I don't think it fits the vibe of the Eras tour.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, love the songs, think they are masterpieces. But it's so awkward to go from like jamming out to Reputation or Red and then stand there hearing her sing like Down Bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, what do you do during that? Like, you can bop your head, yeah, but like, she's not even dancing. She's levitating. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there could have been less songs from the Tortured Poets department added in, and she could have done like a whole separate tour because it's like kind of this old-timey musical feel to it
Yeah.
that would have been so stunning on its own, just like the I can do it with a broken heart type theme to
Yeah.
it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting choice. I don't know how I feel about it, but
Taylor Swift does what she does, and we're
yeah,
just, it's her world. We just live in it.
exactly. Exactly.
Anyway,
Well, moving on, let's hit our song of the week. What is your song of the week, Gracie?
my song of the week is Silence Between Songs by Madison Beer.
Ooh.
I have been listening to it for a long time, but I specifically picked it because it's been on repeat today because I'm going to see her tonight.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm going to her show in Toronto with my sister, so I am excited.
It's very exciting, which for people listening to this when this does come out, we're recording this on May 15th. So
Mhm.
the show is on May 15th in Toronto. But that's so exciting. I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. She puts on a really good show from what I've seen on Instagram and everything, and her vocals are killer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I am thoroughly excited, but I think Sophie might be a little bit more excited than me.
Yeah.
So, what is your song of the week, Nicole?
I've been listening. I have a summer playlist that I've had for years and years and years, and I just keep updating it. But a lot of it is still older. I'd say older. I mean, in the last like 5 to 10 years, music on this playlist. But one song that I keep listening to is "Never Be the Same" by Camila Cabello. I love that song. I think it's such a good song. It's such a great, I don't know why it's such a summer song in my head, but it has just such a summer vibe and feel to it for me. So love that song. That's what I've been listening to quite a bit this week. So I think that would be my song of the week.
Fair enough. I was actually looking at that album today, and I was like, oh, it had some good songs on there.
Yeah, she needs to
Also,
give us some new music, that girl.
oh, have you heard her new music?
A little bit.
She just gives me a silent smile, a little bit. Yeah, she's definitely taken a different route for her music.
Yeah,
Um, it's not my cup of tea, but power to her for being honest with herself.
absolutely.
Yeah, but also talking about music, Justin Bieber had a big week because him and
Yeah.
Hailey Bieber announced that they're expecting their first child.
I am so excited. I think as soon as I saw this pop up on my Instagram feed, I texted you and like everyone else I know. I was like, "Did you see who's pregnant? Did you see?" I'm
Literally,
very
the
excited about
text
this.
message that you sent me was like, Hailey Bieber's pregnant in all caps. And then my response to it was, Taylor Swift changed the Eras tour in all caps. Like
It was an emotional day for both of
we were
us.
having a day. And I'm pretty sure I can find the screenshot and put it in, and that was my exact response to it. But yeah, I was surprised. Um, Mostly because I didn't recognize it at first because she was wearing a white dress and apparently they were doing their vow renewals, which
Yeah.
is very cute, but the dress really threw me off. And it wasn't until like I looked closer that I was like, oh, they're pregnant.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are like, she's not showing a lot yet. And then it came out that she's rumored to be about 6 months pregnant at this point. So people were like, well, that doesn't make sense. But I mean, come on now, girl's like a supermodel. It kind of makes sense
Lit-
that she doesn't have a massive baby bump. But
Yeah.
um, I know I didn't notice it at first either because I saw the announcements before I actually saw their own photos. So I didn't see them first. And then when I went and looked at them, I I thought if I had seen this without that context before knowing she was pregnant, I don't think I would have clued into it, honestly.
And there was
I
nothing in their
really don't.
captions either. They just tagged each other. So I was like,
Yeah.
didn't even say like baby emoji.
Yeah,
It
nothing.
was just like, here's a video. Enjoy. But
But
overall, I'm very
uh,
happy for them. I think
so
they're
am
gonna
I.
be great parents.
I think a
Um,
lot, like, there's so much in the media about those two and then Selena Gomez all the time, people constantly pinning them against each other, saying that they're having marital problems. And I don't know.
Obviously not.
I'm just very happy to see that they're doing their own thing, ignoring what everyone else has to say. And I'm very excited to see their little family. I'm very happy
Yeah.
for them. It's exciting.
I know you're also excited for, I just sent this to you before the podcast, but the Twisters soundtrack for the movie.
Yes, let me pull it up. I've said this I think every episode, but I'm a massive country music fan. So the Twister soundtrack coming out this July is so good. We already knew that there was a Luke Combs song coming out. That's what plays in the trailer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then they also are featuring music from Miranda Lambert, Lainey Wilson, Jelly Roll, Megan Maroney, Kane Brown, Bailey Zimmerman, Thomas Rhett, Shania Twain, Tyler Childs, Leon Bridges, Benson Boone, and more. And oh, Tucker Wetmore. Sorry, I'm like reading it as I'm
You know
like
what
trying to move
name,
on.
you know what name really threw me off on that list?
Which,
Well, not only Benson Boone, but Mason Ramsey.
right? Oh, there he is. I just
What
saw it.
is the Target yodeling kid doing on this album? I mean, don't get me
But
wrong, he has some bangers now,
yeah, I
but
was
it
about to
just
say, have
threw
you
me
heard
off.
his music? Yeah.
Yeah, I have. It's good. It's good, but it just threw me off to see his name with like Shania Twain and Miranda Lambert and Jelly Roll.
Right? Yeah. I also love on here Connor Smith. He actually performed in Toronto in February, and I didn't get a chance to go, but he's more of an up and coming artist, I would say, and he has some great songs. So you should definitely go listen to his music as well before this movie comes out because he has some amazing music. But I'm very excited about this, and I'm excited to see. I mean, this is a very big list of names,
Hmm.
so they can't fit in this much music like individually into this movie. So I'm excited to see who does some collabs for the songs
Hmm.
throughout the movie, because I'm assuming there's going to be, because that's a very extensive list of names.
Yeah, no kidding. But
But
we're
I'm
getting
I'm excited for this movie. I'm excited for the soundtrack. It's gonna be so good. It's a very summer movie. I'm so excited.
it's a very summer movie. It's about tornadoes.
Okay, you know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean. But we are reaching the end of the episode, so I figured why not go into our movies and TV shows coming out within the next week
Yeah,
or
so
week.
first so first on the list we have Furiosa, the new Mad Max movie with Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth. I've heard a lot in the media about this past week about Anya's feelings about filming this movie
Hmm.
and how she felt very isolated filming this movie, which I think this is really interesting because when we've seen other Mad Max films, like with Charlize Theron, when they actually film them in the desert and more of actual what's happening versus this film seems what we've seen behind the scenes to be more on set, CGIs and green screen. And obviously, with the other Mad Max films, that would have been very intense and rough to film that in that environment. Versus this, you would hope would be a bit more calmer for the actors. But it's interesting if Anya will ever explain more about why she felt isolated on this set and what happened for her to feel that way. Um, but hopefully she's doing better. And I think this movie is exciting to see coming out. It's having its screening at Cannes over the festival week, so we'll see how it does in theaters.
Yeah. And following that, we also have the Garfield movie coming out May 24th in theaters. Kind of different than Furiosa, but
Just a
I'm
little different.
I'm excited to see it, but I also can't get over the fact that Chris Pratt is voicing another iconic animated character. I just feel like there's so many actors and actresses out there that they could have chose from, and they're like, nah, we're going with you.
You know what? I love Chris Pratt. I love him. He's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this film too. I keep saying this, but this is like an animated movie summer to an extent too, with the new Inside Out 2 coming out,
Mhm.
Despicable Me 4. But I haven't seen a kids movie in the theater in a second, and this definitely will break my streak. I don't know if I'll see Garfield in theaters, but I am excited to watch it eventually.
Eventually. And lastly on our list, we have Hitman, which is coming out May 24th on Netflix and select theaters.
I'm very excited for this too. I keep saying this well.
We're
Um,
so excited.
very excited. We talked about this last episode that this was at TIFF last year for 2023. Both Gracie and I didn't have a chance to catch it. This is with Glenn Powell. So I am over the moon to see it finally. Because I was very sad not to be able to see it last year because it got really great reviews so far, with the festivals it has been at and pre-screenings. So I think it'll be good. And I'm excited that they're doing the limited theatrical releases as well because we were looking this up before. And we'll be able to see it in the theater. So that's always exciting. It's always good to see again, action movies, they're always so much better than theaters. They're not as good just watching them on your television screen at home. So I'm
Oh yeah.
very excited that we'll get a chance to see it in theater as well, and hopefully you guys do too. But those are the releases for this week. So on May 24th, you can catch Furiosa, the Garfield movie, and Hitman in theaters and on Netflix for Hitman. And that will be your plans for the weekend. So there you go. We've already given you your weekend plans.
Yeah, for sure. 3 in a row.
You can do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Perfect.
That's so true. We could.
Well, that is all we have for this week on episode 4 of As Seen on Screen. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm Nicole.
I'm Gracie.
And catch us next week, the same time on Thursdays, wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube. We'll see you soon.
Bye.